This is Greg Bufithis, the founder and chairman of the Posse List, and I'm here at the Georgetown University Law Center for the first full day of their conference, Law Firm Evolution, Brave New World, or is it business as usual? And this afternoon, my guest is Leah Cooper, who is now Director of Strategy at CPA Global, formerly with Rio Tinto. Leah, can you tell us a little bit about the move you made from Rio to CPA?
Sure. In, I guess, the middle of January this year, CPA Global was close to finalizing a deal where ICG, Intermediate Capital Group, made a significant minority interest investment into CPA Global. And as soon as that deal sort of became more formal, CPA came to me and asked me if I'd be willing to come to CPA and help them really grow the business. And the two sort of go hand in hand, because I think that ICG's investment into CPA really demonstrates that the legal services market is really now wide open, and there's so much opportunity there. And with that in mind, it was truly a no-brainer for me to jump on a team at CPA. They're really, in my mind, from the client side, and now obviously with the CPA hat on, the best legal services outsourcing provider out there.
Okay, you just finished involvement on the panel about emerging trends in legal services, and one of the more interesting comments had to be about cooperation and innovation, which we kind of all started laughing about. Can you tell us what you said during the conference?
Sure. I think that over the course of the conference, we've been hearing a lot of folks talking about how collaboration is critical to the new legal model, and that law firms and clients need to be collaborating more. And in fact, collaboration is the theme of this year's Financial Times Innovative Lawyer Awards. And I guess my comment, maybe a bit crass, was that I'm not so sure that collaboration is in fact innovative. I think it's something that should just be a given. I think it's something that we should have all learned as children, and that the law firms and the clients obviously should collaborate, but the law firms should also collaborate with whoever the client wants them to.
Okay, you also had a great comment about playing nice in the sandbox, which kind of
also goes to the collaboration point. And I gave some examples of when I was at Rio Tinto and how we had outsourced some work to CPA Global, and that some of the law firms didn't really like working with the team at CPA Global, and I would have to sort of referee these things. There were other law firms that handled it beautifully and actually relied on the CPA team to get the job done. So I think that when we talk about emerging trends in the legal services space, to be successful, we all do need to get along and be able to work together.
okay. There's a lot of, obviously, topics and areas that the Georgetown Conference is trying to cover, and the purpose of this interview is just to cover a few of them. You made some points during the seminar just recently ended about trust, which seems to be one of the major talking points all 3 days. Can you just give me some ideas of your feelings about that?
Sure. I think that general counsel need to trust the providers that it works with, and there's been a lot of discussion about the balance of power shifting back to the general counsel, and that the general counsel is the buyer, and that as the buyer, he or she is going to only spend money with trusted partners, and whether that's a law firm or an LPO provider or another vendor, there has to be that relationship, because folks are very worried about professional liability and malpractice, but I think that trust is critical in all of those relationships.
And you feel now it's just not there, or it's building, or do you think everyone's kind of like off balance now and having to learn new skills?
Well, actually, my comments weren't so focused on the lack of trust. I think that a lot of the law firms were concerned about the trust the general counsels have in them, and the law firms are a bit distrustful of working with third-party providers. But I think it's all relationship-based, and as long as there's a good relationship there, then ultimately the work will be successful.
You actually had several pieces of advice, I think, for law firms. One of them being for them to start thinking like business partners. Can you talk to me about that?
No, that's right. I think that the role of the general counsel has changed, and as a vendor, that we have to understand the pressures that are on the general counsel, and we have to understand their business, what they do, but also those business pressures, and we have to deliver to them the information that they need in the manner that they need it, and we need to think more like business people. And I think that sometimes as lawyers, we lose that a bit, and we're not so very good at it.
Right. You talked about the fact that the general counsels have a lot more choices, that there's in fact a Chinese menu that they have to be considering, and your point is that the service provider has to provide help and then walking through that menu, so to speak.
That's right. I mean, I look at CPA Global, and we are here to provide a solution to a problem that you have as a general counsel. And I fully recognize that the options to the buyer are wide open. You can go to a law firm, you can go to an LPO, you could go to contract lawyers, you could buy computer software to help you, you could ask your bank to help you can ask your accountants to help you. There are a number of different options, and what we want to do is find a solution for the in-house legal team that is cost-effective and efficient, but it may just be a piece of the puzzle. It doesn't have to be the whole project, and I think that that's one of the things that folks don't understand about legal outsourcing in general, is that it may not be an end-to-end service. So if it's about contract drafting, the legal outsourcing team may just draft a piece of that contract, or if it's a document review, that's just a piece of litigation. It's not the whole project, and the work can be sliced and diced.
Okay, great. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you later in the conference.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.